My name's Tom Springsteen, and my life has been the fairly simple day-by-day broken record. I go to work and come home to my son, who just got home from school. You see, me and my wife had this amazing child, who is now 6 years old together, and everything was perfect. But then one day, I came home to her mangled body, lying on the floor. Oh God, it looked like an animal had torn her limb from limb, and even today, no one knows what did it. Well, no one except me and my son. You see, a couple months back, my son and I settled down for bed, and it all played out like usual. I watched him brush his teeth, and he laid down, and I sat by him till he went to sleep. Then I proceeded to my room. I needed sleep. I worked a couple extra hours that day and had to get to my sister to watch my son after school. Just as I almost fall asleep, a loud crash woke me. This wasn't like a remote falling off a couch crash. It was a baseball bat to a window crash. And strangely, it came from my son's room. I rushed in there to see what happened, and what I saw was my son curled up under his blanket shaking, and his lamp busted on the floor. "Hey, what happened?" I asked in a low voice. "He got mad at me," he replied, crying. Who? "The Dark Man," he fused. "Who's the Dark Man?" He makes me hurt myself." My son collapsed as he uttered the words. "Well, it's okay. He can't hurt you now." "No. Now he's gonna kill me. He said he would if I told anyone about..." "Wait, what was that?" Just as those words left his mouth, I was thrown against his wall and looked up to see a tall, dark, faceless figure standing over my son, and his deep, menacing voice almost echoed as he spoke. "Child, I warned you not to speak of me, but you have. So now, you and your father will be destroyed, as your mother was." The second those words left his mouth, I knew it was him who had killed my wife. Rage shot through my veins as I punched the thing in the face, but even with all my strength, it didn't even flinch. "What the F are you?" I demanded, and the Dark Man said, "You'll know soon enough." And he pushed me with all his might out of my son's door, and I fell down the stairs. My son then came running after me, and the creature followed behind and said, "Don't run, child. It'll only make it that much worse." I scooped up my son and ran for the door, and as I threw it open, I couldn't believe my eyes. In front of me stood my wife, completely perfect, looking just like she did before she died. The thing then said, "Your beautiful wife, who I have trapped deep in my embrace, will be released and returned to you, just as she was before death, if you give me your child's life." I actually thought about it for a second, but I couldn't. "F you! You're not taking him away from me!" Just as I said it, my wife suddenly turned into a horrible dismembered corpse and tried to grab me, but I dodged and ran all the way to the police station with my son in arms. After what happened that day, I immediately moved out of that house and to a new one across town. Nothing like that ever happened again, but sometimes when I think about that night, I wonder, what would have happened if I gave him my son?